Hello, Flosstube. My name is Amy. This is X Stitching and Adventures, and I am happy to be back. I actually filmed a Flosstube a couple of weeks ago and never uploaded it. I got almost all the way through. I had a bunch of updates about market and what I'd been up to, and life just got so busy and I never got it uploaded. So this might be a little bit of a longer update, sharing a lot of different progress, maybe forgetting to talk about a few things because it's been a while. But I thought I would just start by kind of giving you an outline of what I want to talk about. So I'll start by showing some of my finishes and my fully finished objects because I did spend a little bit of time doing some framing between now and my last video. I'll show you some of my whips after that, things I've been working on that weren't shown in finishes because a lot of my whips became finishes. So I'll kind of show you some of that. In that, I'm also going to include new starts from Stitch West, which we'll talk about third. I just got home from Stitch West. It's really fresh in my head. So I'll kind of give you a recap of everything that went down and some of my shopping purchases from then. And then I'll kind of show you or talk a little bit about like just general adventures that I've been up to. Maybe depending on where we're at time-wise, maybe like some books that I've read. And I'm happy to discuss with anybody if you're interested. So that's kind of my general layout. So let me first show you some finishes. Okay, so the first finish that I'm going to show you is Garden Cat. This was a finished object in my last video, and now it is fully finished. I picked up this frame from a thrift store. It used to have a painting of like a religious building, and I just popped that out and put a cat with a butthole in there instead. This was a birds of a feather pattern called Garden Cat. The pattern has been spoken for. I talked with a woman at Stitch West who is local and wants to borrow it, so she's going to come pick that up. But in the future, if anyone else wants to stitch it, let me know. Just know that you're later in the queue, so it might take a little bit to get to you. I did this from kind of my own conversion using Weeks and DMC and Almond M&M silks. I just stitched this one from Stash. And it's on Fiber on a Whim eggshell. So that's Garden Cat. And I put like framing paper on the back and my sticker of info. This one may get entered in the fair. I haven't decided yet, but it's pretty fun. I did take it to the brag table at Stitch West and got several compliments. So thank you all for enjoying that one like I do. My second fully finished object is my Night Spirit Studio Widow Frog. I am so in love with this one. Oh my goodness. I got this frame from TJ Maxx. I feel like it was like maybe $10. And it has, it's a table frame, but I may put a hook on it to hang it on the wall. Because I don't often trust table frames in a house with cats. But this was stitched with CXC floss with the exception of 4 DMC colors, and they were 1 through 4. So some of the newer colors I didn't have CXC for, so those ones were DMC. And it's on 14 count black Aida. I will bring this in a little closer so you can see some detail. I unfortunately couldn't fit all of the finish in the frame. So this one has like a hanger, like this one right here, that is a little bit covered up, but I feel like it was worth it to be able to finish it in here. I posted this one on Instagram and Night Spirit Studio reposted it, and it's been getting a lot of love over there. So I'm really excited that other people are appreciating it and enjoying it too. This frame was recently available at TJ Maxx. I was there the other day and they had a white kind of shabbier version of this that I also picked up. And so you may still be able to find this if that's something that you want for yourself. And I don't have any other fully finished objects, but I do have some finishes. So I'll show you that now. I don't think I showed this one in my last video as a finish. But this is Moon Garden from Blackbird Designs, and it's stitched on gunmetal from Weeks Dye Works. I had that in my stash, and silks from Almond M&Ms, and a cotton from Forbidden Fiber, and one cotton from Gentle Arts. And I just love it. I'm so pleased with how it turned out. I really love the variegation in the silks. I did some personalization for this, so I put my family members' initials in the pink color. So here's mine, and C for my brother, and both my parents start with J, and then M for my one sister. And then I did the year in 1/1. It's a little messy, but it's fine. And then my initials right here. And I love it so much. This one has been a little difficult to fully finish because it's kind of an odd size. I can't seem to find a frame that works for it. It's a little too tall for an 8x10, and definitely very skinny. So I need to just find the right thing at a thrift store, and I haven't come across that yet. So hopefully I can get that one finished and on the wall within the next couple of months. But if not, I am just happy to have finished it at least. Okay, I had a couple of finishes at Stitch West, and my main one is Spring Hare. This was a start and a finish since the last time I saw you. I started this on Easter Sunday. So I started Spring Hare by Lottie Da, and I have finished it now. I put the last couple stitches in at Stitch West. I did my own conversion for this one. This is a 28 count from Be Stitch Me called Garden Party, and normally I wouldn't stitch this design on such a low count, but I wanted the effect of the fabric, the variegation, and I just decided to eat a little bit more fancy floss during that process. I stitched the rabbit in Weeks Dye Works Grapevine, and also this around the A. And then all of the letters and the confetti are stitched in a Cottage Garden thread. Ooh, I can't remember the name of it. I'll try to put it over here or in the description box if you're interested. If you don't see it, you can always message me on Instagram. But I am so pleased with this one. Those who have stitched this may recognize that it doesn't have the border, the double frame border around it. I was fully intending to stitch that, and then I talked with some of my table mates at Stitch West, and Rocio brought up a really good point. She's like, you know, you stitched it on this for the fabric, and it'll be kind of hard to frame and get straight if you put that rectangle around it. And I was like, oh, you're absolutely right. This will give me more freedom to put it in whatever kind of frame I find. In fact, I may frame this in the white, like shabbier version of this frame, because I feel like it would just be right at home in there, because we'd get a lot of that fabric in the background of that one. So that is Spring Hare. This was my very first retreat finish, and I got to go ring the bell, which was just so fun. Hey Reese, what's up? And Bernadette filmed me, so if I'm brave enough to share that, I'll put that in. But that was awesome. It was exciting to have a finish at the retreat. I actually had another finish at the retreat, but I don't know if I really count this one as a full finish because it is a section of a pattern. It'll make more sense when I show it. This was also a start and finish since the last time that I showed you, because I got this at Market. I picked up my order from Maggie's on Main, and this was not originally in my order, but when I saw the fabric and the floss sitting there, I decided to buy it. This is Spring Pears from Annie B's Folk Art. This is Agave from Zweigart, and the floss is Dinky Dye's Pearl. And there are 3 different patterns for pears within that pattern. So this is just one of the pears. But I started that when I was at Maggie's and finished it up at the retreat. And it's just very cute and lovely. I am gonna have to watch some finishing tutorials or go through the pattern. It didn't look too tricky to figure out, but you essentially trace a pear shape around this and then use like a different fabric and some wool to make the finishing pieces. Like you make a stem and some leaves, and then you stitch it all together and stuff it into a pear shape. So that'll be really fun. I'll probably stitch the other pears in the pattern, but there are also lots of other versions. There's like a blue work pears and a red work pears. There's an orange one and now the green one. And so I might just kind of pick and choose from different patterns within that set. So that was really fun to have a couple different finishes. And a lot of my stitchy time went into those projects. Like I think the last time I showed you Widow Frog, it wasn't even close to being done, and I kind of just got a bee in my bonnet to get it finished. And then I really wanted to have an Easter start and finish that up because it wasn't a very intensive pattern. So I have been busy. Let's see here. I'm gonna scoot a couple of these over because they were starts from the retreat, and I'll show you some of my whips. I was kind of feeling Eastery before I had my Easter start, kind of springy, and I put Adia on the scroll bars to work on. She is a Mirabilia that is unfortunately out of print, so I'm sorry if she's one that you fall in love with and want to stitch. She is pretty accessible, but you'll probably pay about $30 to $40 to pick up that pattern. I don't have her fully stitched yet. You can see down there her dress only goes down a little ways, but I was having to skip a lot of sections to do beading, and I just decided it would be easier to do the beading along the way. But this is Adia. She got maybe a day or two of stitching, not too much. And I'll leave her on the scroll bars and work on her some more probably this spring, I would imagine. Love her. She's so lovely. I'm not going to put the wings on her. I'm going to leave her just as a nymph. I also pulled out, coupon from Maggie's on Main. I also pulled out my Riolis kit, which is Russian Hunting. This was one that I got through my bobbin, I think many, many years ago. And I've been working on this one since 2021. I don't have the full project in view, just a section, but I worked on pulling down her gown a little bit more. She's astride a horse here, and her gown is kind of flowing out behind her. So I finished up the blue in the gown. This is kind of like a lace petticoat that'll go up into here. And then I worked a little bit in filling in this, and I started on the horse behind her. So you can see there's another rider there, and I worked on getting that outlined a little bit. This has a lot of confetti sections and a lot of different colors, but I honestly really enjoy stitching it. It's so fun to see how the design plays with light and how it's coming together. I have a lot to go. There's some done over here, but I have so much of this design to stitch, and that's okay with me because I really enjoy working on it. So that's Russian Hunting. I don't know if it will get more time in the next little bit because the weather is really getting a lot better, a lot springier, and I'm kind of feeling the call to work on like flowers and bright colors, and that one always feels more fall and winter to me. Okay, I think I'm ready to talk about Stitch West. I had the most wonderful time at Stitch West. I have been there, I've been to Stitch West, I think this was my 4th time, and I feel like this one was my favorite. It was just so much fun, and I think part of that was because it was different than other Stitch West retreats I've been to. Most of the time it happens in downtown Salt Lake, and we've had a couple different ballrooms there. Like there's been one at the Salt Palace, and at the Marriott across the street from the Salt Palace, they've used different ballrooms for different retreats. And this one was in Ogden and just down the street from Shepherd's Bush. It was so fun. There were a couple of little quirky things about the location, like the hotel is a historic building, and so it really struggled with air at night, like staying in the rooms. It was pretty hot. That was my only complaint about that location, honestly. And the hotel staff was really great at working with us to get us as comfortable as possible. But the rest of the retreat, like the conference center ballroom, was awesome. We were able to spread out a little bit more. And maybe there were fewer people than usual, I'm not sure. But they had lots of vendors in there, and it was right connected to the hotel, which was really convenient. And then just down the street from Shepherd's Bush. So we went there several times during the retreat, and we were able to pick up different flosses and things as we needed them throughout the weekend. There were lots of different food options very close nearby, and it kind of just like freshened everything up because, you know, it was new to all of us. Like, we weren't in the same location that we'd been for Stitch West. So that was really, really fun. The other awesome piece of it was I got to see Rocio, and it had been over a year since I'd seen her. And we got to catch up again with Bernadette and Jordan and Lorinda. I met Amber, Rogue Mama Stitcher. I got to catch up with other Utah Stitchers that I haven't seen in a while, like Emmy. And it was just wonderful. It was just so nice to catch up with everybody. Such a fun retreat. I went down a day early because I was picking Rocio up from the airport. And then we met Jordan and Bernadette in Ogden and went right to Shepherd's Bush. We ate like an early lunch dinner at the restaurant across the street. And then we did some stitching at the hotel. And we did kind of a little birthday exchange that night because my birthday is in a few days, and Rocio and Bernadette also have birthdays in April. And so I'm going to show you kind of some little birthday goodies that I got from them. This was from Jordan, and she gave me a retreat mat, which I am so in love with. Oh my gosh, it was so convenient. It's got this green fabric on the back, and then here there's the felt for loose threads, and there was a needle threader and a counting pin. And then in here is a little orc catcher that snaps on up here, which was so convenient. I used it all weekend long. And another little pocket that I just slid scissors into. And then I, propped up my stand and my pattern stand, and it was just so handy. It kind of carved out my space. It was perfect. And very, fortunately, it matches well with my stand, which is kind of a very, creamy green color. And then my pattern stand is a pink. So everything just kind of, coordinated. It was perfect. Carolyn, one of my table mates, gave me a pair of scissors that was purple that matched this perfectly. It was just a very fortuitous and lovely gift. So thank you so much, Jordan. Bernadette gave me this cute little cat tote, and inside are all sorts of fun stitchy goodies. There are some lovely floss tags that have a cat and a moon. She knows me so well. This makes me think of Kiki's delivery service. Reminds me of that cat. And then some thread jewelry and a thread ring to go with it that match. And I'm gonna have to pick the perfect project to kit up with that. And there was a little, I don't have it with me, but a little pattern tracker thing, it was a cute paper that was laminated and had magnets on it that you can move down your pattern on the stand to help you keep track of where you're at. And then some Saju bobbins inside of here. So, here, I'll show you the back because you can kind of see there all these different colors. They were so cute. I'm excited to use those. Thank you so much for this, Bernadette. And then also she bought me some thread drops from Lorinda's Mary Crow station, which are so cute. They're fairy themed, and I have put them away already to use in a project, so I don't have them with me, but they were so cute and so lovely. So thank you very much. And then Rocio bought me dinner, some delicious margaritas. They were so good. So thank you, Rocio, very much. I bought a lot of things at Stitch West, and I just want to preface this next shopping section by saying, if you are a family member or a friend who watches these floss tubes and you're not a stitcher, it might be really hard to understand the level of consumerism here. But culturally, I feel like most stitchers get it, right? Like, we go to a retreat only a couple of times a year, and at that retreat, there are a lot of makers who are also stitchers. And so I feel very okay with spending my money to buy materials there that support another stitcher. Like, it just builds community, and it's also fun. Like, part of our hobby is collecting things and buying like notions and things for our project and our work. And so I don't want anybody to be too judgmental of the consumerism here, because I do try to stitch from stash as much as possible. But I did some shopping over the last couple of months. It was kind of, crazy with market and with now this retreat. And I just kind of coincidentally had some like unicorn charts pop up on eBay. So I've bought several different things. All that to say, please no judgment. Please no negative comments. Okay. All right. We're all on the same page. One of the makers at Stitch West, her name is Diane, and she's Beehive Stitcher, came with so many lovely portfolios. I mean, these like folio pattern keepers are just fantastic. And I fell in love with two different ones. They have a section here that you can pop your work into or your pattern on each side, and then the zippered pockets here. This is magnetized. Let's see if I can get it. And there's room to like open up a little bit if your project is thicker. So I bought this dragonfly one. I loved kind of like the night botanical feel of it. And then I also got this one, which is, it's my favorite. I saw it sitting there and I was like, this has to be mine. But she had some from the Teresa Kogut fabric. And inside, this has a project in it, so you're gonna get a little peek. But inside there are these different colors. So there's that green in the back, and then all the floral. And I love this. And then Debbie, Mama Bear Stitchery, gave me some of these little gummy bear like scissor pulls, and I coordinated and put them on here because they match perfectly. So I got those, and then I was so tempted by so many of Jordan's bags. She was selling bags next to that, but I am very proud of myself. I only bought one so far. I may buy more. But I got this citrus one from Jordan, and it has her little death head moth, and then a little strawberry charm on there. And the fabric inside is this very springy yellow. And I loved this one. I thought it would be so fun for some very bright summery projects. And then I bought two more project bags that I'm not going to show, but I will mention the makers. I bought one from Alicia, Farm Girl Stitcher, and she has fantastic bags. She had a very wide variety, and I think she had quite a few left. And so go support her. I'm not sure if she sells on Instagram or Etsy. I feel like she might have mentioned Etsy. I can't remember exactly, but very well done, high quality bags. Go support her. And then I bought one from the 805 Stitcher, and I have another bag of hers that I won in a retreat giveaway one time, or a retreat contest, and she does a great job making bags too. And I'm not going to show those because they're going to be gifts for some other people that may watch this video. So I'll keep those to myself for now, but go support them. I bought some stuff at the Mary Crow, which is Lorinda's shop, but the thing I want to show you is my favorite that I bought there. She had some of these stitching boxes, and I got this light pink, which matched my retreat map, another little fortuitous occurrence. And inside, I've added some of the things I got at the retreat in here. So some of it is not what Lorinda put in there, but she made these pins, these little froggers and pins, and there was a measuring tape in there and some buttons, and then a pair of scissors. Oh, I've got some needle minders stuck on that. And this scissor fob. I feel like Jordan told me that this was Lorinda's grandmother. I can't remember exactly. I'm sorry if I'm misquoting that story, but I just thought that was really lovely. And then she made, it smells so good. It smells like, I don't know, like ink and probably this waxer. She has all sorts of amazing waxers. So if you are a stitcher that uses a lot of wax, definitely check out her shop. There was a little tomato pin cushion, this little spool, and just some like handy little things like a needle threader. And then I added this in there. I'm not going to show all of the little gifts that we got at Stitch West because there have been other stitchers that have done floss tubes and shown those already. Like Jordan and Rogue Mama Stitcher have already shown a lot of what we got at our table. But somebody made, I think, oh, what was her name was Kim. I'm pretty sure it was Kim. Made these little Frogger pins, and I died. I was like, this is the best little table gift. And it immediately went in here and will be used often. So I love this. This is so handy, and I'm so excited to use it at other retreats throughout the year. Some other notable table gifts were from Bernadette. She had a little boba tea holder that her sister had crocheted, and we went and got boba tea over the weekend, and my boba tea fit perfectly in there. It was fantastic. At Shepherd's Bush, I bought a few different things. The first day, I thought I was being so good because I spent a lot at market. So I was trying to be a little bit more conscientious of my spending at Shepherd's Bush and the Annex. So I bought just this little kit, and I thought I was being so smart. Like, look, this tiny little project. And then I flipped it over and realized it had painted mats that go with it. So these ones come with that project. And then, of course, I had to get the exclusive frame that it all gets finished in. So it ended up being a bigger purchase than I had planned on. But I'm really excited to stitch that one. It is called Garden House from Shepherd's Bush. Sorry, there's a little bit of a glare there. That's better. So I got this Shepherd's Bush kit. It is nearly impossible to walk in there and not buy a Shepherd's Bush kit or a Shepherd's Bush conversion because everything is just so lovely and the walls are just packed with models. So you get really, really enabled. The second day that I went to Shepherd's Bush, I bought another kit from them. And in my defense, this is a kit that I have admired on the wall the last several visits, but I've never really been able to find it because you kind of have to search in different places, and was able to find it this time. So this kit is called 'Tis a Gift, and it came with everything. It came with the floss, the fabric, the pattern, for a very reasonable price. And I am just loving it. The thing that drew me to this pattern was this red brick home. So I went ahead and started this after I finished Spring Hare. Sorry, I'm shaking the table a little bit. I tried to, balance out the computer, but moving things at the table is shaking it. And this is where I got to over the course of the week. So it's stitching up pretty fast, or I should say weekend, I guess. I've got everything done in the house with the exception of the back stitching, and then I've started working on the field. And I've got part of the sheep here and part of a cow. This is going to be a cow. I love those little berries. And then this is a flower, and there's another flower there. And then I will stitch, the vines and the lettering that go all around. So I don't think this will take me too long if I can just remember to pull it out and work on it. I used the called for flosses. You have to sort them, but they come like this. Here, let me get this in here. Got little strands. There is a floss card that comes with it, and then you just have to sort your flosses. I am missing one of them. It wasn't in the kit, but thankfully it's one that I have in my stash, so I'm gonna just be able to replace it. But all of the flosses, they're a mix of silk and overdyed cottons. And then there are also some buttons that came in the kit that are in here to put on when it's finished. So that was one of my retreat starts. And I put it in my Teresa Kogut folio. What was my other start? Oh, it's underneath everything now. Okay, the last night we were all stitching in the lobby after the stitching room had closed, and I pulled out this one to work on. This is Hello Autumn. I initially was going to stitch something from the Hello Spring book, which I also bought at Market. But I was having a hard time deciding how to adapt the pattern that I wanted to stitch. Like, I really want to stitch Cherry's Jubilee from that one, which is some birds, you know, with cherries and lots of bright red colors. But I don't want to stitch the whole pattern. Like, I don't love the text that is on the pattern. I think I really just want to do the birds. So I still need to do a little bit of planning for that one. And I already had this one kitted up, so I thought I'll start that for fall. I decided to start this one on a Picture This Plus fabric. This is a 36 count, and I think it's Highland, if I remember correctly. And I am doing it with the called for flosses. However, I may change things up a little bit. So you may be able to tell already that some of these colors are blending into the fabric a little more. I was really worried about this white pumpkin at first, but then when I put the outline in, it helped it out a little more. This white is the one that's called for, but it's just a very muted white, and so it's not popping off of the fabric, and I think I'm okay with that. But the thing that I want to change is I stitched these acorn tops up here in the border, and I just really feel like they're getting lost, and I am really tempted to change them to this light brown color in this butterfly's wing to the top part there instead. I feel like that might make them pop a little bit more. I don't know, like somehow in this video I'm seeing them a little better than I was last night. Let me know what you think, but I feel like that color, that outline color of the pumpkin in the acorn is just not quite what I need it to be. These colors are not reading super well in the video today. It's a very dark and stormy day outside, so I don't have a lot of great natural light. This needle minder was in my stitching box from Lorinda, so I've moved it onto here. And then a very kind soul, I cannot remember her name, gifted me a bunch of different needles to try. We were stitching late on Saturday night, and she gave me like a petite and another kind of pony needle. I've used the hypoallergenic ones, but she gave me another one. I think I gave that to Jordan to stitch with that night. I'll have to try that out. But yep, this is Hello Autumn. And I will probably continue to work on that a little bit over the next couple of weeks and months. I'd love to get it finished up in time to display for autumn, but it's a very intensive pattern. Like, look at how many acorns I have to stitch in that border. It's big. This is a big pattern. So we'll see. I don't know. It might be a couple of years project. I've just been letting the whims and feelings dictate my stitching this year. No assignment stitching, or it will kill my stitchy bug. I also went to another stitching shop. I went to Stitchery Express one day, and I picked up the cat tarot patterns that I wasn't able to get through Maggie's on Main. I'm going to the Stitching on the River retreat this summer with Maggie's on Main, and our designer will be Dirty Annie. And so I really wanted to pick up a couple of patterns of hers to work on and maybe finish for the brag table there. And this is probably maybe my favorite Market release of hers. This is Venetian Lion. I picked this up just thinking it was all kitted in DMC, and it's not. It has a bunch of Rainbow Gallery silk lame braid, and I'm gonna have to order that to get started, but I do have a fabric already that I think will be perfect for this. And then I will likely start this in the next couple of months because I'm really excited to work on some of these. I picked up, I don't have it with me here, but I picked up all the floss and the fabric and the pattern for every opening flower. Someone had put their finish on the brag table at Stitch West, and I loved it. I love the house and the willow tree and everything about it. So I grabbed everything for that, and I think Bernadette got everything for that. So we may sell that. I may even start that for my birthday this week. So we'll see. The ladies at Primrose Cottage gave us a retreat kit for this one. This is called Honeybees and Stitching Please. And they kitted it with 25 count Lugana and some DMC, and then all the finishing frills. So it had the little pom-pom trim and the backing fabric. And then they also designed companion pieces for it, which was bad for my wallet, but fun for the retreat. And I bought this one, which is Honeybee Quilt. And in the finishing packet, included the beads, or not the beads, the pins, and the chenille trim and the backing fabric for that one. So I have both of these to stitch. And then they also gave us a little freebie chart and a couple of skeins of floss at our table. And then Sunday morning, they brought around some finishing fabric. So they were very generous throughout the retreat. I was very appreciative. They were such sweet ladies. One thing that they did that I thought was really cool is they requested ahead of time that every table have an extra chair at their table, and they kind of just rotated through the different tables over the weekend, sitting and stitching and talking with stitchers. Hey, shh. And so we got to know several of the Primrose Cottage ladies, and they were very kind. Okay, so thinking a little bit about other purchases, I picked up Wizard Cat from Market. This is a Lindy Stitches pattern. I really wanted to start this one right away, and Maggie's was not able to get Maggie's was not able to get the Cosmo Floss Pack. So I'm gonna have to order that from Lindy Stitches website if I want to stitch with Cosmo. There is a DMC conversion, so I may end up doing that. And then I also got, I think I mentioned this earlier, I got Hello Spring, and I bought several others. I've started to kind of just put them in my stash, and so I don't have everything to show you, but I feel like you've seen a lot of the Market releases. I picked up one of the Primitive Hare patterns, I picked up a Counting Puddles pattern, and I picked up several pieces of fabric. So I got some of Old Amana, I got some, not Fiber on a Whim, I can't remember what the dyer's name is now. I got several pieces of fabric at Maggie's, and I'm excited to use them, but I just don't have time or willpower to go pull them all out to show you. So here's just kind of a sampling. Oh, I also bought Gemini because I love this Zodiac girl. Cross Stitch Spells finished a whole bunch of them and has them on their Instagram, and this one is just stunning. I'm a Taurus, but I do have some Gemini in my chart, and so I'll probably stitch that one maybe in the next year. I kind of have an unofficial rule that I work on one Nora Corbett at a time, and so when Moon Glow is finished, I'll pick another one to work on. This was kind of one of those, not unicorn charts, but sought after charts for me that came available on eBay for a good price. And so I picked up this Prairie Moon. Oh, geez, there we go. I just didn't want you to have the glare. Prairie Moon has some of their charts available in PDF form, but not all. I don't know what that process is for determining which ones get charted and which ones haven't been yet, but this one is not available yet in PDF. So I picked up the hard copy version of that chart. There's another one of theirs that I want to find called Faces of Eve, and I think that one might be in PDF. I bought a lot on Facebook of Halloween patterns for a very, very cheap price. And I was so lucky because in that lot there was a Birds of a Feather. These are all out of print and hard to get. I love that skeleton guy at the bottom. In fact, I may just stitch him. I mean, the witch is great too, don't get me wrong. The whole pattern is amazing. But I could see myself just wanting to stitch that skeleton. Sir, can you get down, please? And then in that same lot was Scream House from Just Nan. And it has the little bits and bobs. It does not have fabric. Ooh, whoops. It does not have fabric in it, but this is a very hard to get pattern, and I was very lucky to get it in that lot. So that was very, very lucky. I'm trying to think if there are other notable purchases. I acquired a lot of Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts and DMC from a local Facebook marketplace listing, and I got everything for well under $1 a skein. So since I'm trying to stitch and kit from stash a lot this year, I'm not being 100% successful, but I figured that was a good investment to build up my fancy floss for a very reasonable price. Instead of paying, $2 to $3 a skein, it was more like 60 to 75 cents. And they were brand new. Older because they've been in her collection, but not really used. So I got very lucky that way. I think that might wrap up a lot of my stitching update. And this is probably getting very long. So I'll keep the adventure update short. I went 2 weeks ago to Jackson for the weekend with my brother, and we were supposed to go with some friends from here in Idaho Falls, but they ended up getting sick and couldn't go last minute. So we drove over and went to a music festival called Rendezvous, and they have that every year right at the end of ski season. And they bring in pretty big musical acts, and it's all free. So it's always a really fun time at Rendezvous. Last year was the Revivalists and Elle King and Ryan Bingham. And then this year it was Jamestown Revival, The Head and the Heart, Luke Grimes, I think that was that cowboy's name, and then also Mountain Joy. And Mountain Joy is like one of my brother's favorites. So we were super stoked. We had a great time. We spent a lot of time hanging out around Jackson Square and shopping, and we went to Snake River Brewing. And then Saturday we met up with some other friends at the ski resort. They do Saturday's event at the ski resort. So you're right in the mountains. It was snowing and just fun, and we had a fantastic time. Mountain Joy was incredible, and there was a big fireworks show after. It was so much fun. So that's one of the adventures I've been up to. I also went to a fundraising event for my friend's organization. She is on the board of the Snake River Animal Shelter, and every year they do a big formal event called the Fur Ball, and this year's theme was Tales from Outer Space. So TAILS, Tales from Outer Space. And I dressed up, I kind of embraced the outer space and channeled my inner alien, right? And had a green dress and some green makeup and like a silver pom-pom headband. I might have a picture. If so, I'll put it in maybe here. And then my friend was Alf. He and his girlfriend, June, who is on the board. They were Alf and Alf's cat. I don't know. I did not watch Alf. Don't tell them. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, and I went with some other friends to that event. It was just really, really a fun time. I've been pretty busy, honestly. I had a spring break. Oh, this reminds me. I had a spring break and I went over to Boise and visited with my sister. And during that time, we were able to go over to Emmett at Maggie's on Main during their market release party. And so I caught up with Cheryl and Jeanette, who I met at Stitch West, and then also Nina and Laura. And it was so fun. We did a ton of shopping, and Maggie's on Main brought a taco truck in and put up some stitching tables in the back. So we just hung out there for several hours, stitching and socializing and eating tacos. It was great. Sorry, I am trying to pacify this cat. This is Jamie. He's being annoying. Yeah, I think that's it for Adventure Update. I know this is getting long, so just real quick, I listened to the audio for the book Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and that was phenomenal. It was such a good audiobook. I would love to talk about it with others if you're interested. We did a book club at work where we read that book, and it was so fun. Every single one of us loved it, which I feel like is pretty good for a book club. I feel like there's always some kind of dissenting voice, and everybody loved this one. The next month we did The Silent Patient, which was like a mystery. And one of the things that we did that was really fun with that book is we made predictions throughout the book and wrote them down and dropped them in a vase at work. And then at the book club, we pulled out everybody's predictions to see if anybody was guessing correctly or predicting the outcome of the story. That was a really fun and very short read. I love when a mystery is quick and to the point instead of drawing it out for a long time, and that one was very rewarding. For my other book club, we read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and that one was okay. I felt like it was kind of, in a lot of ways, exactly what I thought it was going to be, like a story of old Hollywood. But then in other ways, it really surprised me. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away anything in the story, but it ended up being a more modern tale than I thought it was going to be. It was enjoyable enough. I'd probably rate it 4 stars. The audio narration was pretty good, and it was fun to chat about with friends, so it's worth a listen or a read. And then I am starting to read a book with a different book club. Yes, I am in 3 book clubs. And this one that we're starting to read is called Reclaiming Body Trust. And it's part of a body kind community, like a body inclusivity and body acceptance community that I'm part of here. And I'm super excited to delve into that one. I think it'll be really fun. In the chat, people have already started discussing some of the ideas that they're coming across in the book, and it's just been overwhelmingly positive. And so I'm really excited to kind of get into that a little bit more. I don't think I have anything else to share. I'm glad that I finally finished this up. Hopefully I get it uploaded. I'm sorry it's been such a long time. I've appreciated all of the people that have commented on my previous videos and have subscribed. I've really appreciated the positive shout outs and mentions from other people on Instagram and Flosstube. It's been really fun being part of this community so far, and very positive, very uplifting. I was talking with Rocio at the retreat, and she said, you're in like the perfect spot right now because, you know, your community is like super supportive and small and engaged, and that's so fun, and I've really been loving it. So thank you again for watching and supporting, and have an excellent time stitching. I will try to come back and talk about my progress a little sooner next time, but I'm not going to hold myself to anything because this time of year gets really, really busy for me at work. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I see you guys again in a few weeks. But until then, have a great time stitching, and thanks for watching.